Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com is with us now. Hello, Bill.
What's the matter with you people?
And it begins. Another crazy week in Washington. Americans can't catch their breath. Bill, how was your week?
Yeah.
What is on the top of your list?
The skinny bill.
We're not good at skinny anything, but go ahead.
I was surprised that John McCain voted to basically keep Obamacare in place. Weren't you surprised, Beck? I was surprised about that.
Why? John McCain is the leader of the progressive arm of the Republican Party. I mean, he's a big government guy. This doesn't surprise me at all. That's who John McCain is. That's who he is.
Well, I mean, his state, the people in his state have been harmed pretty much the most of all Americans by the rising costs of healthcare insurance.
Bill, he is
a huge issue in Arizona.
Let me give you a perspective to hear your rebuttal of it. John McCain has been a progressive Republican since the 80s, 90s. He has become the Edward Kennedy of the Republican Party. He is now, and I say this with all sympathy, he is now dying. He has brain cancer. He was brought back to be the liberal lion of the Republican Party to give cover for probably 10 Republicans who did not want to say they were going to vote against health care, had to, but want to keep Obamacare. He came in. This is legacy building for him. He thinks he's going for a greater government cause.
The theory that McCain is somehow a closet liberal guy, I don't buy it, because if you look at his foreign policy and if you look at his record on social issues.
No, but wait, hang on just a second. Wait. That's not, you're talking liberal. I'm talking progressive. There's a huge difference between liberal and progressive.
Yeah, I understand that. But where the nexus crosses is in social issues. Liberal and progressive social issues pretty much down the line. The politically correct society we have that you guys are just whimpering about. I mean,
no, but again,
line right up.
You are looking. There are just like there are libertarians.
Wait. You said.
All right, go ahead. Now, you can be wrong. I'll give you 2 minutes to be wrong. Go ahead.
Put tape on his mouth. All right. I think this is about Trump. I think McCain despises Trump so much because of the POW comment during the campaign that he knew, because it doesn't make any sense as his pal Lindsey Graham and all of the other people that he's close to, Orrin Hatch in the Senate, would say to him, look, all this does, this skinny bill, is take out 3 or 4 of the most egregious parts of Obamacare, which McCain cannot support. The mandate that you have to buy insurance, the mandate anybody employing more than 50 have to give insurance to everybody, the tax on medical devices, which the liberal Democratic Party doesn't like. So I think it's about McCain basically saying to himself, I really despise Trump, and I think Trump should be out of there, and I'm going to make it almost impossible for Trump to have any kind of legislative victories. That's what I think this is about.
Well, I appreciate the conspiratorial.
Running into my brilliance, I understand you.
No,
guys.
I mean, I appreciate the conspiratorial nature of that, but I deal in facts.
Though it's
Bill.
based on facts. Based on facts.
I mean, because I think that's
look. He loathes Trump. McCain loathes him.
I agree.
Everybody
No doubt.
knows it.
I agree.
Yes, he does.
I agree with you.
I think that's probably part of it. But
That's what this is all about.
Isn't that something that Trump should know? And it is the downside of him doing this stuff.
Nobody thought that this was going to happen. Pence actually had to stay up late. You know, Pence is in bed at 9:30 every night.
Mm-hmm. Not that late.
He had to stay up late and was calling McCain saying, you can't do this to the party. See, that's what the appeal was to McCain. Look, make sure that the skinny bill passes. It'll go back to Ryan in the House of Representatives. They'll put other things in it, which they promised to do. Then it'll come back to you. And then if you have an objection, you can vote against it, okay? But give us, the Republican Party, a victory and send a message to the American people that we're not totally impotent.
So I think
John refused to do it.
I think John McCain, you're right, hates Donald Trump. But I think John McCain hates the Tea Party and the conservative wing, the small government constitutionalist, the Massies, the Freedom Caucus, the Mike Lees, much more than he hates Donald Trump. Now, he may be on fire for Donald Trump, but there is a long history of him just despising these Tea Party constitutionalist people.
He's also terrible on immigration.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're correct there, but I don't think that was the paramount. That was the paramount motivator for McCain shocking his entire party and giving the Democrats a huge victory. Do you guys understand how the Democrats are feeling today? They are just walking on air.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Number one,
I know.
They protected the enormous entitlement of Obamacare, which is, and number two, they've damaged Trump again. Trump looks like he can't get anything done. All right. So McCain handed his opposition. And plus, I got to say that the people of Arizona, I mean, I know McCain is at the end of the road. And I respect McCain. Everybody should know that listening to the Glenn Beck program today. I respect him. I don't think that he's a person that's trying to hurt his country. I do agree with you that he doesn't have any use for the far right, for conservative principles in general, that he's a so-called moderate. But this was all about sticking it to Trump. I know that that's what this vote was all about.
Okay. I think it played a role in it. I think that he is not a liberal. He's not a moderate. He is a deep progressive that, just like in the early 20th century, there's two kinds of progressives. One that want to control you for all kinds of reasons, and then the other to control you for all kinds of other reasons. It's all about control in the end, and they truly believe that the best thing for the country is to have government control the big things in your life. It's always been that way. I truly believe he believes in big government health care. He also had the extra motivation because he despises Donald Trump. So it was a twofer, because this is now going to leave the GOP as completely worthless, could give the House and the Senate to the Democrats, and they will reform and they will go to a single payer. And Donald Trump will be more than happy to work with them in a year and a half. Guarantee you.
I don't think so. I don't think Trump's going to work with the Democrats.
How? Wait, how?
That's conjecture down the road. But you're look.
If they try to pass,
if the party's on the ropes.
Go ahead.
And it's on the ropes for two reasons. They can't pass any kind of reform about Obamacare, and Americans who voted for the Republicans want that. And number two, there's just continuing chaos in the White House, which I want to talk about after your break and paying your bills and your enormous salary. We have to do that.
My enormous salary.
Yeah, come on, Beck. I mean, you've got servants fanning.
Oh, no, I know,
Dallas.
Mr. $25 million a year so I could get out of a car. I know. All right. So let me ask you this question, and then we'll take a break.
What?
Spectacular defeat here. One, is there another chapter in the Obamacare thing that has a chance of being passed, or is this done until the midterm? Two, what does this mean for any meaningful tax reform, more or less likely?
Well, the tax reform now, this is desperation time for the Democrats. For the Republicans, excuse me. So they have to do it. And I think they will. But I think they will. But the fight is going to be about the tax cuts for
the wealthy
people who are affluent. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. So if you are a wealthy person like you are back in this country, don't expect a tax cut because you're not going to get it. But I think they will be able to pass it before the end of the year, because if they don't, it's all over. And then they'll come back to Obamacare probably in the fall. McCain and Schumer will be holding hands. They'll be doing the lambada, and then we'll work it out. But it's all BS. And at this time next year, maybe they'll have another vote. But it's all about giving away free stuff. That's really what Obamacare is about: income redistribution, free stuff, unlimited Medicaid to people who don't have a lot of money. That's what it's all about. And the Republicans and Democrats are never going to agree on that, ever. It's just a philosophy of the two parties. But I do expect the Republicans to ferociously pursue the tax cut, because that's the end. They can't do that. That's the end. Not just in 18, but that for 20 and for everything else, people just walk away.
Okay.
I had a letter that said, well, we're not going to vote for Democrats, we being the Trump supporters. And I said, I know that. You won't show up. That's why Hillary lost, because her people didn't show up. It's exactly what's going to happen to Trump if he can't get this stuff done. Mm-hmm. He's a severely wounded president today.
Back in just a second, more Bill O'Reilly. We'll get into the White House. We'll talk a little bit about Jeff Sessions. An hour from now, we have an amazing guest that is going to take you inside Russia and what Russia is really doing. A phenomenal guest you don't want to miss, coming up in about 45 minutes. And
the Glenn Beck Program.
Hello, America. Welcome to the program. Bill O'Reilly is with us. Let's go to what the heck is happening with Jeff Sessions, this nonsense back and forth between the president and Jeff Sessions. Jeff responded yesterday, just said, some of this is really hurtful, but I'm just continuing my job. What is he doing, Bill?
I think it's a frustration situation, and I always go back to my theory about rich guys. Rich guys like Trump, the Bushes, the Kennedys, families that have for decades have had a lot of assets. They're raised in a different culture. Their lives are different. They don't have to deal with much frustration. They can have pretty much what they want. And the mindset is that things are going to work out. Written about this extensively, that things are going to work out. No matter what it is, we're so powerful that things will work out. The Kennedy family, probably the best example of that. So when you get in a situation that Trump is in, where he is being unfairly hammered, I believe, on everything, his frustration boils over, and he can't handle the day-to-day pain because he's never had it before in his entire life. Therefore, rational thought is replaced by emotion. Enter Jeff Sessions. There are three things in play. Trump apparently has been told that Sessions should not have even applied for the job of Attorney General if he knew he was going to recuse himself in the Russia investigation.
The Russian investigation wasn't going on at the time. Do we need to bring Marty McFly in with the explanation of the parallel timelines? That's not even possible. How is someone selling this to him?
Look, I'm not saying that it happened. I'm saying that's what Trump's being told. And Trump himself said in the interview, they did talk about some kind of Russian stuff. So anyway, that's number one. Number two is the leaks. And that's driving Trump absolutely insane. And he doesn't feel that Sessions has been aggressive enough. Now, Sessions came out this week and says, I'm going to be aggressive. All right. And the third thing is basically that Hillary Clinton, all right, is still an obsession for Donald Trump. I don't know why, because she's done. She's going to come back with a book and say that she lost because of sexism or some crazy thing. Fine.
And he's going to make a big deal out of that book and help her sell even more books.
Probably. But Trump's still obsessed. And now he's saying, well, look, I didn't do anything in Russia, but she did all this, X, Y, and Z. So why isn't Sessions investigating that? Those are the three reasons. So somebody else would cap it and contain it and say, all right, it might be frustrating, but I'm telling him to investigate the leaks. He is, or he says he is. Hillary, you could do the foundation. You can't go back and relitigate the emails, but you could do the foundation because that's an ongoing concern. And I believe the Clinton Foundation, from the jump, and I've said this many times, was an enterprise just to benefit the Clintons.
Oh, it's corrupt to the core.
Right.
Yeah.
So you could do that. And, if Sessions objects to that, then Sessions has got to explain why.
Right.
So, but what it is that when Trump gets frustrated with someone, you saw that on his program, you're fired. That's what he's used to doing. His whole life he's done it. But now he can't do it. I don't expect Sessions to be fired because if he is, then the whole Republican Party is going to walk away from Trump. And Trump's got to know that now. Scaramucci's got to be telling Trump that.
So did you see Ben Sass's speech yesterday on the floor of the Senate to the president? You should go back and read it or watch it. It was tremendous. But he said, Mr. President, if you try a recess appointment
that's right. Yeah.
It'll be over. It'll just be over. Right. All right, back with Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com. BillO'Reilly.com. He apparently has written a couple of books. He used to do a show people I've heard, watched. If you liked that show, if you'd like to give this new guy a try, BillO'Reilly.com. You can get his no-spin news every day. BillO'Reilly.com. Back in a minute.
The Glenn Beck Program. Mercury. This is the Glenn Beck Program.
Scaramucci is just a...
Let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question?
Oh, dear God, what? Bill O'Reilly, what?
Isn't it refreshing to have me on this program on Friday?
No, it's a pain in my ass.
You and your crew different perspectives that you've never thought about.
Because they're wrong. We dismiss them right away.
Guests saying at the end of the day 50 times. Isn't it refreshing to have me here? Come on, tell the truth.
I mean, you are the most delusional man I think I've ever met. Now, Bill, this Scaramucci character, I mean, right out of The Sopranos, this interview that he did, and he says he didn't know, but I trusted a journalist. You what? I mean, come on, man. The things that he said in this interview, he is one of the nastiest guys I've ever. I mean, I wouldn't be in a room with this guy. If this is the way he talks when he's just talking, I want nothing to do with him. Is this where our president lives? This is the swamp cleaner?
Okay, number one, Scaramucci lives in my town. All right. I don't really know him. I ran into him, I think, once many years ago. But if you're thinking that this kind of conversation and this kind of language that he's using is not used by most, and I mean that absolutely accurately, most political operatives, and you're living in the land of Oz. I mean, John Podesta, who would have been Hillary Clinton's chief of staff, makes Scaramucci look like Mother Teresa. All right? That's how bad many of these guys are. Now, I'm going to give Scaramucci a pass because he's probably taken with himself with the big position. He's never been in there before.
Ah, good. So we have a rookie with an ego.
We have a rookie.
Sounds like a good combination. Let's keep adding them.
Well, they're all rookies. Come on.
Right, with egos.
Them, and that's not a good combination.
And money.
And I'm not justifying anything he did, but I'm trying to add perspective to it.
Right.
But what I can't figure out is why anybody in the White House would talk to the New Yorker. They hate you.
Hello.
All right. Why would you do it? Why would you invite the New York Times in, as Trump did last week? Why? I mean, they're never, ever going to be fair or give you any kind of benefit of the doubt. They're always going to find a way to try to destroy you. That disturbs me more than the gutter language.
Yeah, it's not the language. Now, it's just this guy is just a bad guy.
But it is the language. I mean, we expect some decorum as far as presentation is concerned. And behind the scenes, as I said, they all talk like that. But you don't talk like that to a reporter who hates you. I mean, it's just insane. This guy couldn't get in. This New Yorker reporter couldn't get into CNN fast enough. I mean, he was like diving through the window. Put me on, put me on, put me on. You know, I'll set myself on fire if you don't put me on right now.
But Bill,
he's responsible for my death.
If he believed he was off the record, however, and he was saying those things about,
they all say that,
right? But
you don't talk to a New Yorker reporter, a New York Times reporter, and say it's off the record. They're never gonna. I mean, and I don't believe Scaramucci thought he was off the record anyway.
I don't either.
I thought he was just being a macho man. You put it right, The Sopranos.
Well, he's claiming he thought he was.
Got to get him a little hat and he can strut around.
Yeah. No, he's claiming he was, but that's just so he has some, look, I wouldn't have done that if I was. He was sending a message. He was sending a message with this conversation.
If nothing else, though, then wasn't he a leaker?
In a much more authoritative way.
Right.
Look.
But Stu brings up a good point. He has become a leaker himself.
Well, Stu is a genius, number one. So whatever he says, I have to take very, very seriously. Number two, look, there are leaks coming out of the White House, and it's driving Trump crazy, and Scaramucci is there to try to stop it. All right, so that's what it is. We'll see if he can stop it. And then now Lance Priebus may be the leaker. Reince Priebus, I'm sorry, may be the leaker. And but I don't want the speculation. Find out who's doing it and fire him.
Okay, so how do you feel about Donald Trump coming out when the Pentagon is going in another direction just to get a bill passed in the House? He comes out and says we will not accept any transgender people into the military. We know we have 10 people in the military that are serving. There hasn't been any problems. I mean, look, I don't want to pay for anybody's elective surgery. This surgery should not be anything other than elective, and it should be discouraged as it does nothing to change the suicide rate. People who have dysphoria, they are 46% likely to commit suicide. They have the surgery, they're 45% likely to have suicide. And the younger you get, the higher the number goes for suicide if you've had the surgery. We should not be in this business in the first place. I don't want the military a part of any kind of political correct anything. Their job is to kill people faster than anyone else on the earth. I don't care if it's a guy in a skirt. I don't care if it's a guy who looks like Randy Macho Man Savage. I don't care how they get it done, as long as they get it done. What about Trump doing this?
That was very, very, very well put. Okay, here's the deal. You want to know the real story, and this is why you should be thrilled to have me on every Friday. Here's the real story.
We like you for your modesty, honestly.
Well,
I have you on.
I mean, modesty only goes so far, Beck.
Right, okay.
Here's a real story.
All right.
Trump and his crew in the White House know they're looking terrible on the legislative front. Okay, they know it. So what better way to deflect attention away from that than to rev up your base, which does not want transgendered people in the military, okay, and just throw out a tweet, which is all he did. Didn't sign an executive order, didn't order the Pentagon to do anything. Throw out a tweet saying, well, they're not going to serve in the military. That deflects the whole thing away, injects emotion for your cause, all right, because your base wants that. Your base is with you on that. And that's exactly why that happened. Thank you very much. Stu, are you there, Stu?
Bill O'Reilly's a genius. I've said it before.
Moscow today is seizing 2 U.S. properties in Russia because of the sanctions. Things aren't looking good with Russia. Where is this headed?
No, well, you're going to have your guest on in next hour to
yes.
What's going on in there? Look, the sanctions have to happen, and so if they're going to seize whatever they're going to seize, then you look at that and you slap more sanctions on them if you have to. Putin's not going to have a confrontation with the USA. He knows he'll lose that. He'll lose it militarily, lose it economically. There's no win in it for him. He's got to bluster and that's what this is. He's got to bluster to his base. So I'm going to seize this, that, and the other. Iran does this all day long. But in the end, Putin's position is not nearly as strong within Russia as he wants you to believe. I mean, there are people in Russia who want him out, and that movement is growing as the economy there gets worse. And these sanctions will hasten the demise of the Russian economy. So if you want to get Putin under control, you got to do this stuff. Congress is smart for doing it. And Putin can bluster all he wants, but he's not nearly as powerful as we are.
Bill Browder is my guest next hour. He was the CEO of Hermitage Capital Management. He was the former hedge fund manager that his partner was Magnitsky, the guy who the Magnitsky Act is named after. His partner was taken in by the FSB and the oligarchs in Russia, beaten, tortured, eventually arrested, and then, an accident happened in prison. They tried to shut him up. This is the guy who is the partner. He has the inside scoop. He has testified in front of Congress, and it looks like the Democrats didn't want him to testify. I think he is completing a tying up the loose ends here on something that I've said for a long time. They were doing this to both. Trump and Clinton both fell for it. If Clinton would have won, we'd be sitting in exactly the same situation, except we'd be shouting the other side's argument. This is Putin trying to cause chaos, period. Agree or disagree?
That's what Putin does. I agree. That's what Putin does. And that's why he's got to be slapped down when we get the opportunity to do that. He's a bad guy.
Bill O'Reilly, last question. I hear that back to school is around the corner, and I was wondering if you had any gift ideas.
Well, I'm more interested in your vacation plans, Beck. You taking any more time off in August?
No, I'm staying working.
Oh, you're here, huh?
Yeah.
Excellent. Legends, Lives of Civil War, for anybody who wants to really understand the Civil War but not be bogged down with 900 pages. It's a terrific read, and 9 to 90, ages 9 to 90. Old School, Life in the Same Lane, give you a few laughs. Killing a Rising Sun, of course, is perennial. And then we have Killing England, a big Revolutionary War book coming up September 19th with Hillary Clinton.
But you really didn't kill England. England isn't really dead.
No, but it's what we call a
jump metaphor. The shark. Oh, I'm sorry, you were going for something.
Shark. There's no seafood in the book.
How do I find your books? How do I find your books if I wanted to buy one?
Yeah, no, you'll like it, Beck, because it will educate you about our country, and I know you want that.
Yes.
You desperately want it.
BillO'Reilly.com.
All that's available on BillO'Reilly.com.
Thank you very much, Bill. I appreciate it.
All right.
God bless. Have a good weekend.